Okay, so I am doing access testing one more time, and I will tell you that I am not excited to have to make a video at 10:36 p.m. to make sure you have something to do tomorrow. So please watch the video. Please do all of these problems. And please be ready for the quiz on Wednesday. All right? Quiz on Wednesday. No exceptions. So we've done some of these problems together. But I'm going to go over one more time how to find force and how to find distance. So I'm actually going to do questions 2 and 3 since 1 we should have done already. So I'm going to do questions 2 and 3 and then maybe I'll pick a few more other problems. Question 4, this one is trying to have us determine the charge. I'm not going to have you do this problem. So question 4 you're not going to do. And then question... what is the force? What is the electrostatic force? So I'm not going to have you do 7. And I'm not going to have you do 11 here either. So you can cross these problems out. So you can cross out problem 4 on scientific notation where we have to determine the charge. You don't have to do that on here. You also don't have to do question 7 on the back with the scientific notation, and you don't have to do problem number 11. The rest of the problems you need to make sure you have done. All right, and then you also need to do L1 and L2 by the end of the period. And here goes my story with how to solve for distance. So how far apart are the two objects? So we have a blue box with a charge of 0.00440 coulombs. That is Q1. And I have Q2 as 0.0033 coulombs. The force between them is 504 newtons. We want to know the distance, and this is where many of my students are like, well, I don't have enough information. What am I supposed to do with this equation? And we all forget about the constant. So the constant is the same number every time, 9 times 10 to the 9. Alright, so we're going to leave it at that because it's easier to put on the calculator as well if you do. You don't have to do 9.0, just 9 times 10 to the 9. So FE, I'm going to make sure I write this as up high as I can because we're going to have to do some algebra here. So FE, messed up, FE is 504 equals, I'm not going to have space now, that's okay. 9 times 10 to the 9 times 0.0004 times 0.0033 all over d squared. So in order to solve this on the calculator, I'm going to put all the numbers on the top of the fraction in my calculator. So here's my fancy calculator. So 9 and then second E button, 9 times 0.0004, open parentheses, 0.0033. So on the top of the fraction, I have good old 11,880. 504 equals 11,880 divided by d squared. Now I have to get rid of d squared from the bottom of the fraction. So you always want to get rid of the fraction first. There's only 2 types of problems on the quiz. One you have to solve for distance. One you have to solve for force. This is how you solve for distance. So multiply distance to both sides. And now I'm going to rewrite that. So these cancel out. And now I have d squared times 504 equals 11880. In this case, now that these two numbers are being multiplied together, I want to get rid of this 504. So I divide it to the other side, 504. So divide this by 504. And now I have d squared equals 23.57. And I'm going to take now the square root of both sides, and that's how I will solve for d squared. So take the square root. Second square root is right here, square root. And it's the same on the TI calculator, so second square root. Find this square root on the other calculators. You don't have to press second for that one. But for this calculator, I actually could just go up here, pick up this number, and then I don't have to type anything. And so my answer is a distance of about 4.855. So I'm going to write 4.86. So the distance equals 4.86 meters. And that's how you solve for distance. So that's one of them on the quiz is solve for distance. The other one is solve for force. So luckily, question number 3 is let's solve for force. So two identical forces of, two identical charges. You guys, it's 11:43. I'm tired. I wish I could just go to sleep, but I really want to make sure you have something to prepare yourselves for the quiz. So 0.0025, negative 0.0025, and then we have a distance of 8 meters, and we have K 9 times 10 to the 9, and we're looking for FE. The best thing about this equation or this problem is that you don't have to do anything other than put into the calculator once you set it up. So FE is X. That's what we're going to look for. And now it's K 9 times 10 to the 9 times negative 0.0025 times the negative 0.0025 all over distance squared, which is 8 squared. You could also write 64, right? 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, I gotta double check because it's really late and I can't think. Yes, I was right. Okay. So you could also write 64 down here. So, but don't forget to square that 8. Okay. And then for this one, again, you're just going to put it on the calculator. 9 exponent 9 times negative 0.0025 times negative again 0.0025, close parentheses, divide by 8 squared. I'm going to keep that inside of parentheses as well. And we have a force of 878.9 newtons. And this is how you solve for distance or for force. Distance, force. So again, don't do 4, don't do 7, and don't do 11. The rest of them you should be able to do by the end of the period tomorrow. I might just solve them real quick, but not in a video, and provide you with only the answers. I'm not going to provide you with every step by step. I'm going to provide you with the answers. You want to make sure you can get to the answer. Make sure you watch this video and you turn it in during the period, or else I will not accept it after your class period.